Have you ever said, I can't? I can't do this. I can't change. I can't keep going. Well, I know I've said it too, more times than I'd like to admit. I can't feel safe. It feels honest. But here's the truth. I can't is more than a feeling. It's a choice. Every time we say it, we're choosing to believe something about ourselves and something about God. The question is, what if what you're believing isn't true? Stay with me, because today we're talking about how to retrain your mind from I can't to I can, or even better, what if I could? I can't is the whisper that grows after doubt takes root. It's that quiet voice that says you're too small, too late, too broken, too unqualified. But I can't isn't a fact. It's a decision. It's choosing to stop before you start. It agrees with the limitations instead of the possibilities. And every time we choose it, we close off what God could do through us. It feels true because it's comfortable. I can't doesn't ask anything of you. It lets you off the hook. You don't have to risk or fail or stretch. The enemy loves I can't because it keeps you stuck where you are, and you can't move forward when you're stuck. But here's what I've learned. The longer you agree with I can't, the harder it is to see what's possible. Again, I've been there, listening to the wrong voices, believing things that aren't true. I mean, they were easier to believe because what if I failed? What if I let someone down? What if I let God down? They kept me safely frozen. And one day, I finally realized I don't like being stuck. I don't like being frozen, and I'm tired of giving fear a vote in my life. So I started digging into why I believed I can't. I discovered I was believing lies about my value, my worth, and I looked at who I was trying to please. And that's when something shifted. I began to ask, what if I can't isn't the end of the sentence? What if it's the beginning of a story? God wants to rewrite, changing my what ifs to even ifs, and helping me to begin to ask, what if I could? One of my favorite stories in scriptures captures this perfectly. It's the feeding of the 5,000. The disciples are tired and hungry and overwhelmed, and they thought they were headed for some rest with Jesus. But when they reached the hillside, a multitude had gathered to see him. The crowd was huge, and they spent all day listening to Jesus teach. And finally, the tired, hungry, overwhelmed disciples came up to him and said, "Hey, Jesus, we need to send these people away so they can get something to eat, and maybe we can too." How does Jesus respond? He says, "They don't need to go away. You give them something to eat." Well, the need is massive, and their resources, well, almost nothing. They respond with, "We can't," and the cost. "Jesus, do you know what you're asking?" But Jesus doesn't respond with, "Well, what can you do?" He asks them, "What do you have?" And they say, "Well, there's a little boy over here with 5 loaves and 2 fish. And Jesus says, "Bring it to me." He takes what they offer, small, limited, and certainly not enough, and he blesses it. And what happens next? It becomes more than enough. That's what surrender looks like. When we give God what little we think we have, our time, our strength, our courage, our willingness, he multiplies it. He does what we can't when we hand it over to him. That's where transformation happens. Not in our power, but in surrendering to him and trusting him with what feels hard or impossible. every time that I can't thought shows up this week, try these simple 3 steps. Pause and ask yourself, is this true, or am I agreeing with a limitation that God didn't give me? Then say out loud, what if I could? Or maybe I can't, but I know God can. You see, every time you speak truth, you're retraining your brain and your spirit to believe it. Friend, I can't will always sound easier, but it will never lead you to freedom, because you can't alone. But with God, you can. If you're ready to start replacing those I can't thoughts with truth, I created a free workbook called the Toxic Thought Detox. It walks you through how to identify your toxic thoughts, replace them with truth, and renew your mind every day. Download it using the link below, and you can also sign up for my weekly emails, Light for Your Path or Truth to Go, for ongoing encouragement and tools to help you live free. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share it with a friend. Remember, freedom doesn't come from trying harder, it comes from trusting deeper. And maybe today, that starts with one small question. What if I could?